to end federal government ASU impasse. I'll be hanging out with Dr. Oladipo and Bola Olajuwon. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. It is Sunday. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin with safety issues and the need to check incessant collapse of building in Nigeria. About 84 persons have lost their lives in 18 collapsed buildings in Lagos in the last 2 years. The latest of such incidents occurred on Obaidowu Oniru Street in Victoria Island, Lagos on Sunday, 4th of September, when a 7-story building collapsed. This is becoming worrisome. Dotun, 84 persons have lost their lives in 18 collapsed buildings in Lagos in the last 2 years. Now, it's as if Lagos is the most affected.
It's not surprising that this is happening, because these days what you find out is that people try to cut corners. What they want is quick fix to whatever issues that are coming up. People want to build, they don't want to maintain standards. And then unfortunately, with what we have discovered, what we have seen in the last 1-2 years, is that even enforcement of the rules, the capacity to ensure that people do what is right has been missing. And in reality, this is an indictment of those who are in charge. In Lagos, we have a ministry, physical planning, and you have about 2 other layers of authority over supervising construction in Lagos, planning generally, socially build it. So the big question to ask, where were these people when all of this happened? What were they doing? The assignment they were saddled with, did they carry it out effectively? Were there checks on these buildings during construction? In fact, for the last one, it was very shameful, because days before that building collapsed, videos were already circulating. And from what we saw, even on the video, it was obvious that it was just a matter of time for the building to come down. And these things were in the public domain. Unfortunately, up till the time it collapsed, there were people walking on that building. And the information was that one of the government agencies had put a stop work order on that building. But construction went on.
You hear of this often, where it's not the inability of these agencies to discover these buildings. Most of these buildings, like the one that happened,
21-story building, right?
21-story building.
Yes.
There would have been a stop work order.
Yes, yes.
Before any time. But somebody powerful would have gone to Alausa to compromise the civil servants there,
yes,
and work will commence the next day.
See, look, in Lagos, Lagos is the most regulated state when it comes to building construction. Or you want to repair your house. Before you know it, from council everywhere, you see people coming there to ask questions, to put seal. But immediately you grace the palm. Mostly that is all. Then the issue of who you know in government. Then you, please, is one of our own. Forget about it. And that is all. Then work will commence.
And most of the time, it boomerangs.
Yes, yes. But people are not mindful of the fact that the building code, enacted by the federal government and by Lagos State, is meant, for one thing, for protection of the life of even the people who are constructing, the people that will live there, and even the person that's the investor on that building, the investor of that building. But what happens? What happens? This death will still continue. If you remember very well, people are not being punished, and people are not taking, they are not taking, how do I put it? They are not seeing obligation that, look, this is a duty, not only where they can get their means of livelihood, but the fact still remains that to protect the life of people and even the economic survival, of the people, not only the people living there, the economic survival of the people, the tenants, and virtually everybody around. Okay, now, the issue is this. In the history of all this collapse and deaths, we only saw one person, former commissioner, for physical planning and environment. Yes, physical planning, taking responsibility and resigning, Idris Salako. And he said what? He said, look, the one of 7-story building.
He resigned or he was shown the way out?
No, he resigned. Well, maybe he was asked to resign. We don't know. But the truth of the matter, he said he was resigning. And he said before the building collapsed, the case of 7-story building, in November, I think, he said, look, his men went there to put a stop, to put a seal there, stopping the construction. But what happened? The contractor was very hostile. Why being hostile? The issue is you have a job to do. You do the job. What is the hostility going to do for you? But at the end of the day, people die. And I said that the community, the landlord, where all these buildings are being constructed, should take responsibility.
Okay, I have my first caller. Wale is calling us from Ikorodu. Thank you for joining us, Wale. Happy Sunday. Hello, Wale. Wale, you are listening to your monitor. Can you please reduce the volume of your TV set?
And to the other two panelists, okay. Let me tell you, I discussed this matter on your sister platform.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I discussed this issue, okay, on your sister's platform. Let me tell you, until you solve the problem of corruption in this country, we are not moving anywhere. It is not only the commissioner that will resign. What about the director of Lagos Building Control Agency? That is the most guilty agency in Lagos State as far as building construction is concerned. Okay? That place is a cesspool of corruption. They go about every day. I see them, every nook and corner cranny of Ikorodu and other places. They go there, but immediately you grease their palm. They just say, okay, go on, song, and that's the end. But there must be a consequence. The problem we have in Nigeria is that there is no consequence for malfeasance. Let there be consequence. God bless you.
Somebody should take responsibility. And how do we fight corruption in these agencies? As I said now, it's like a juicy agency.
Of course,
everybody don't ask for bribe. People will give you what to give.
No, but
because it's like a regulator.
My take is this: we have a ministry, and we have agencies under that ministry. Can we properly streamline them in a way that when you see a stop work order, you don't need to move around for too long to understand that this is from here. And I'll explain that. Somebody comes from the Lagos State Building Control Agency and says to you, we are from the office in this local government. Another one comes and says, we are from the old secretariat. and another one comes and says we are from Alausa. So sometimes you are building and you have 3 sets of people from one agency coming. And then you have that also in the other agency there. Can we properly streamline it in a way that if it is the ministry that is going to sit as complete overall boss, then you know what is happening? With a situation where you don't even, what everybody is doing at some point is to start rushing to the commissioner's office to start going to see the PAMSEC because they believe they are the law, they are the overall.
Revenue driven. It should be for safety.
Yes.
Quality control.
Exactly.
It's not
I've witnessed a situation where they had come to a particular house, a particular building under construction, and they said they were asking the supervisor in charge, are you sure you used good materials here? And that one says, come and bring your hammer, come and try it. They said no, they have to take some things for test, and they brought nothing. Meaning that they just came there to look, to seek, and to see if they will find something juicy. There should be strict regulation in a way that when you see a building, you are sure yourself that this has been properly done. But where all you see is money exchanging hands, some people just driving past and they see that, oh, construction is going on here. They quickly park, harass you with some policemen, come to our office, you go to the office, you do some payment, and you are out. You go back to it's annoying.
Bola,
So
I think on a final note, Lagos State should intensify and aggressively identify those buildings that are defective and preempt demolish, mark them for demolition before they come down. If you go to Lagos Island, if you go to Butemeta, there's some buildings that mere seeing them, you know that something is wrong.
See, if we are very used to going to areas like Ofin in Lagos, do you know that, look, the separation or the space in between buildings, they are just like this.
Yes.
They're just like this. Even from your house, from your window, your house, you can cross to the other side. And it has been happening. Look, that area, Ofin area and adjacent area, they are notorious for it. Even to the extent that, look, if they want to change wire, electricity wire of PHCN, you don't even need to take permission. You will just go to somewhere, you just change and you use it, just to have
I have Ayo from Songwater. Thank you for joining us, Ayo. Go ahead, please. Hello? Ayo, are you there? Okay, Ayo's not ready.
As I was saying, see, the Lagos State government should do more than just going there, putting stop order, asking them to come and even the landlord associations, the CDA should take responsibility
Right now.
Because at the end of the day, there's no way that one house will just go down like that and that will be the end of it, that it will not affect the other one. Let me tell you a story. Let me just tell you a very short story. I went to New York. I stay in one apartment, 33-story building apartment. Every day I will go out. On Sunday, one Sunday, I didn't go out. What I had was, I took my heels and I quickly wore my clothes. I came outside. In the lobby, one man just saw me. He said, what happened? I said, well, I was hearing noise. He said, that means you don't know that a train passed under this building. It's about the engineering, it's about the construction. I was so amazed. And I didn't realize that fact, that look, I've been passing through my apartment. And I asked, what becomes of the building in case of, calamity? They said, no, that every now and then they do integrity. Building integrity. The issue is this. I don't know. Look, immediately they finished constructing a building and they gave them the right to occupy it, that is the end of it. 20 years, 30 years, nobody will go there to do anything, to do integrity. And they told me that, look, they've done that before. What they will do is control demolition. The building will just come down. It's not that, everybody, you will go and meet one governor, you will go and meet one council, one canteen head, or anybody. It's a fact, it's established code. Then we should see to it. The issue, another thing is money. People are no longer going to beer parlor to drink 5, 6 bottles of beer. The issue, maybe they are listening to the advert of promoter of cement, that look, instead of using your money, your money to drink, use it for cement. People are no longer waiting to have 500,000 to build houses. Maybe as a result of that, that is why they are going to see quack. And the more this continue, the more debt we are going to record.
Wow. Okay. Moving on now. The recent onslaught by the military on insecurity is attracting commendations. The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, has commended the armed forces for their sustained fight against terrorists, banditry, and kidnapping in the last 1 month. Speaking in Abuja, Senator Lawal praised the military for flushing out insurgents and terrorists in Kaduna, Niger, and Zamfara states. They've been making exploits. We've been hearing information of air bombardment, and some of these insurgents, especially their leaders, have been neutralized in the process.
Yes, the good news we've received in the last 1 week appears to be encouraging.
Back to back.
Yes, back to back. The people who carried out the attack on the Nigeria Defense Academy, the deputy leader of that gang was brought down, though the leader escaped, according to the information available.
But in another report, they said the leader was killed. We media too should help. To really come up.
It is.
No,
It is.
Let's be realistic.
It is what you
There's
get.
no how you can be accurate as
It is what you get.
We can be accurate.
Maybe it is maybe after seeing the dead bodies and they do DNA.
It is what you get
to identify
as
them.
facts that
You use.
not that you. In this case, you can't. It's a bit difficult for you to say you learn when you were not there to see who and who were killed. So, but even at that, if these successes have been recorded, these people should be praised. In the Northeast, because of what has been happening, we were told that over 79,000 insurgents have surrendered in the last 2 weeks, which is quite encouraging.
79,000.
Yes, which is
Now
quite
I know where the
encouraging.
problem is.
That's where the problem. You know,
79,000.
when some of these figures are mentioned, it appears not comprehensible. For instance, when we were told that there were people on over 300 bikes, or about 300 of them on different motorcycles who attacked the Kuje Correctional Facility, people were like, where would they have come from? This is planning. And they were said to have left a village, Karishi, which is some miles away that night, to do that attack. So you know that they come in numbers.
Roadblocks.
Yes, they even come in numbers. That's the issue here. So when I hear some of these figures now, I'm not shocked, because these people have the capacity to recruit, and because of the money involved and the belief of where they are going after death and all the rest, these people are willing to throw themselves into the ring. I love what the Senate President has done. But if you ask me, I love what the Borno State Governor has done better. We were told that one of the leaders, one of the commanders of the Civilian Joint Task Force was killed of recent. The Borno State Governor just gave the family 10 million naira, built a house for them, and said all the children will be on scholarship. So I think we should motivate them. We should commend. But then we should also, because if people are sure that their future or the future of their family is assured, if they get injured or they get killed, then I think there will be more motivation for them to go on. We should keep saying it, and we should keep doing something about it. These people too are human. Sometimes you want to fight, you think about it. If I die, even my family, it could take them 1 year, 2 years to get my pension, go running, to get whatever is due to me. When all of those things are out of the way, we can begin to encourage them better. It's not just by words of mouth. We should also go on and do something tangible for them.
I was also told about the impact of the Super Tucano, this war, that it has been of tremendous help. The air power has been a big advantage. There's no how they could run, there's no how they could hide. Anywhere they are meeting, they have gathering more than 5 or 10. There's always a system to track and kill these guys.
See, Ayo, I don't know why most of our soldiers were being killed by bandits. In the first instance, the new attack architecture is to use the platform, the air platform you have, the jets, the attacking helicopters, to soften the ground for the ground soldiers to come in. But what happened to our former jets and attack helicopters before the coming on board of Tucano? And you also know that Tucano initially had its own limitation, because the people supporting, the Americans supporting the military must give order in respect of certain attack. That was what we learned. And then they signed that not every military onslaughts should be done just like that, using the Tucano to keep people. But now, thank God, we are seeing Tucano and others in action, other aircraft in action. Okay, initially, what we learned was that maybe the APC government or Buhari government was, gave order to the military not to attack. 2 weeks ago, I was there. NIA, Lieutenant General Irabo was there. And he said it when we asked him the question. He said, I'm telling you by everything that I take sacrosanct, that nobody, and I repeat, nobody, including President Muhammadu Buhari, has ordered me not to attack all these people. But now, let's look at it. This thing shouldn't have come in place in the first instance, that we are now rallying around to attack insurgents. What about intelligence gathering? And we should know one thing. The governor of Niger State, when these people were coming, he said it. He said these people will soon go into Abuja to attack. These people are here. They are in the forest. Did anybody go there to attack these people or to look, to stop? See, one thing I think is this. We should try as much as possible when we have a dent on our body. We should try as much as possible to treat it than, getting injured and then being insulted. That is the question. It's not necessarily going there to attack them. When they've gathered, they've destroyed many lives. They stopped the movement of train that many Nigerians saw as a grace from this administration. They stopped it. Many people, the economic livelihood of many people have been cut short. Many family breadwinners have been killed. See, my brother, look, the issue of intelligence gathering and then going to deal with the situation before they get out of hand should be entrenched in the military, not necessarily just going there. Now, I don't see if Nigeria can go to Liberia, Sierra Leone, and fight without so much knowledge about the terrain of that place. Why are we not taking responsibility to safeguard the life of Nigerians, not going there to attack. And then what matters most is making use of intelligence that we have. And then when our leaders speak in respect of what they notice around them, we should take a sacrosanct that, look, these people are talking sense. As one monarch said, he said, this man, we went to see him, and he was talking sense. We should realize that fact. That is my take. Not necessarily trying to say that they are doing. Fine. We found ourselves in this type of situation. Then we must deal with this situation. It's not only, attacking them. These people are hungry. Most of them are hungry. That is the truth. We should find something worthwhile doing. See, the issue of a governor or, a chairman of local government going to give out money to community leaders, to people in communities, is no longer there because you will be questioned. People have been getting money easily before. They get money easily to do many things, but the money is not forthcoming. And then when you arm people, you arm Nigerians for election. At the end of the day, you give them gun, you give them everything. And you are not taking care of them. They will use the gun. Our politicians too should look into it. What are we saying?
The best way out of this situation?
Like I said, we should do more of intelligence gathering. But then we should also know that there is a limitation where these bandits and terrorists surround themselves with civilians, which can result in casualties that we are not planning for. Two is that we must also check the rising costs of flying these aircraft. Like we know, at the beginning of this year, aviation jet was about 250 naira. Now it is in the region of 1,000 naira. And it's still the same budget that the military got approved last year that is still being used, which is released piecemeal. So that also must be factored in, so that when there is a request by the military, it is quickly attended to. Because you can't say what you budgeted for at 250 naira and you are buying at 1,000 naira now. You are still releasing the same budget for it. It's not going to work. And then we also need to get the country going. Because the truth is, the moment we cannot sort out the people at the level perpetrating this crime within, not without now, not those who have come in as foreigners, then we are going to have a lot of some Nigerians still joining in perpetrating this evil. Things are not just working the way they should. And our best bet is to get the country working again.
All right, to get the country working again. Almost every aspect of our economy is wobbling and failing. Now, the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency in Nigeria, SMEDEN, says more than 2 million small and medium enterprises collapsed between 2019 and 2021 across 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. Speaking in Abuja, SMEDEN FCT manager Barry Kolawale said the number of 41 million small businesses in 2017 has reduced to 39 million in 2021, due largely to COVID-19 pandemic. It's a system that doesn't encourage these small businesses, and because of the overhead costs, because of the environment, a lot of people will say power, a lot of people will, a lot of conducive atmosphere for these small businesses to thrive, that we've not been encouraging them, and they've not been doing well. That's why we've seen these statistics now. Over 2 million collapsed between 2019 to 2021. You can imagine the number of employment that will be affected.
You see, Ayo, like when we want to talk about developments of Asian tigers, the so-called Asian tigers, what do we say? We say small businesses made them to be in the position they are today. You see, these things are not in isolation. That look, you just create them and then they will evolve like that, and they will be nurtured like that, without the basic things being done to make sure that these small businesses, evolved and they are sustained. Okay, now we are looking at the issue of power, electricity. There's no electricity. Then what happened? Then now, about how many years ago? We are talking of about 2019, about 2 years ago, right? Then let's first of all look at the cost of fuel, petrol, and diesel. We have them being increased for almost 100% to 200%. Even sometimes for a long while, these products are not even available. They are not available. Then how do we want these small businesses to survive when we don't have the electricity, the power is not there, and we are not even encouraging them to do that? And not only that, those who are surviving, go and look at their statistics. The cost of production and the cost of manufacturing. Go and see, how do we want them to survive? Not only that, what about the policies of government? Then, how these people get approvals to have these small businesses in place? How do they get the approval? We've been talking about the ease of doing businesses. Fine. At the level of the presidency and at the level of the office of the vice president, I can tell you categorically that this government has done a lot to encourage small businesses through, borrowing platforms and grants like trader money and things like that. But for these small businesses to survive, that is the question. And aside that, Nigerians should also know that, look, there is no way you can spend above your profits. Some people get this money. Immediately they get money, they get loan. What do? You see them buying cars. You see them doing business. That is when you want to go and bury your grandmother and your father. That is when you want to take title. And that is when you want to get married to more wives. This issue too should be considered. Then all this should be. You understand me? You don't need them. You don't need them. What matters most is that, you see, I don't know. Most of these companies, do you know that they have to send their profit, their account to the Corporate Affairs Commission? How many do we have sending the accounts to the commission? That is the more reason you will see the commission, maybe in a year or 2 years, they will just go and mention the names, they will register the names of companies that have not been given, and that is all. They will delete them. Then we should also realize that these people also need funds. They need loans. Are the bank giving out the loan? And at what interest are the bank giving out loan to small businesses? These are the things we should look. The interest rate is too prohibitive.
I'd like to take it from there too. A lot of people will to say that yes, the banks should be there for these small businesses, but they've not been they've not shown any encouragement.
Well, unfortunately,
they go for the big spenders.
Unfortunately, I would say the banks are also being very careful, because you don't go and put your money where you are not sure your investment will return. The economy, for me, on paper, is doing quite well.
On paper.
But in reality, what we are seeing quite different. When these businesses were given this, loans to begin, and which some began on their own, what was needed to keep them going? We just mentioned the issue of running our aircrafts, helicopters for the military, and the issue of aviation fuel going from about 250 to 1,000. It's still the same thing, because these days you can't manage like a sewing industry, no matter how many it is, with a small generator. It must be diesel powered. You are talking of diesel that is 1,000 naira. Or let's stretch it a bit further. I'm a small businessman. ASU has been on strike for 7 months. I want to withdraw my child from the federal government universities and put in a private university where what I'm going to pay is going to triple
1 million naira upward,
or go up more. Those are,
so you are contemplating what to do now.
Gradually, we are killing the economy. The Manufacturers Association has been talking about this for long. There is no way we can say the economy is improving when we are not manufacturing. That is the truth. You can't. And these are some of the things killing us. Go and check it out. Which is part of what we are still going to discuss. Bankers, they are fleeing the country. Even the knowledgeable and professional ones, that's what we're talking about. People you feel have a means of livelihood.
All these problems that we are seeing now started when this administration came to power, and they were giving all manner of promises that they were going to lift up 100 million people out of poverty. 100 million. You can imagine that figure. 100 million.
That's half of the country. Uche, are you there?
Okay, so like I was saying, when you are at this level of desperation to keep your company going, and then instead of getting encouraged, what you are now getting is the Federal Revenue Service or your state revenue service showing up with taxes that
local government, multiple taxation,
everybody looking for how to get from that small bread that you are holding. I once told the team from the FIRS, I said, see, if you insist on certain things, all of these people you are seeing in my office, I'm going to sack them. We are going to wind up. And I'm going to just take my bag and walk away.
That is the truth.
And you have just walk away. Because you cannot say businesses that are just managing to survive, that someone is putting in extra effort to ensure that he doesn't lay off staff, that you are going to tax them in an excessive way. It can be done. You can't just sit down and look at somebody's profile and say, you must come and pay this to the government. When you know that that's the economy, which is not solely the fault of this government, because like they have also confessed, they didn't know that things were that bad when they came in, because the books were not adding up. So if you now come and you now say you want to tax these people again excessively, they are going to fold up. I'm sure this figure we have gotten is just
a drop in the ocean.
It's just so. I know of a lot of chief executives of this federal government funded or aided small enterprises who have left this country. Some of them only coming from Canada. They're coming from the US once in a while to come and say, okay, is there something for me to do? Because the whole thing has collapsed. And if we don't begin to do wholesale addressing of these problems we are encountering now, we are going to keep on going down, 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 down. Like I said, look at everything happening in all sectors. People are moving their children out of Nigeria. They are going with their families. And it won't stop if we are incapable of ensuring that people can earn a living.
Okay, I have another caller from Owerri. That's in Imo State. Thank you for staying with us. Hello? Hello? You're live. Go ahead with your contribution, please. So at the end of the day, at the end of the day, we are just going to have the rich and the
getting
poor.
richer and the poor getting poorer. And how will the rich survive? What is the safety?
I don't even agree that the rich are getting richer. Because if you have money, and what you are doing is spending it, not more is coming in, you are not richer.
Yes.
That's the problem that we seem to have. Some people have gotten to a level where they feel my living should not go below this standard. But they are crying within. They are crying because the economy is also not helping them. People who use diesel engine now, and once there is no power, they quickly rush to put it on.
You can't do that now.
They don't do it now. You see, some of them will wait
Can't afford that.
until when there is absolute necessity to put it on. Some have already bought small generators. Go and put on that one. Power AC. And don't power AC. Put on fan. Put on TV.
So
And that is all.
That is all. So it's not as if the rich are getting richer. I don't agree with that.
You see, but in any case, the rich, those people who are still rich, but not very rich, they will be there. What is their safety? Are they secured? The people in government too. When people are hungry and hungry, they said, an hungry man is an hungry man. What will be the essence of people living without eating? That is the issue. And then the safety of our leaders will be at their own peril. When people are so hungry, they are there. You see, the issue is that, look, when we establish something, or when we come up with a scheme, a developmental scheme, we should try as much as possible to soften ground for the scheme to develop. These small scale businesses, they are not being so much assisted. The government needs to assist them. And not only that, the issue of coming up with one directive today, the other one. You see, the economy of Nigeria is not predictable. How do you want these people to survive? That is the only thing. We are talking of capital flight. We are talking of new businesses not coming or investment coming. How would they come when what we have on ground is not making the existing company to survive?
I think we have the scholar from Agbo. Thank you for staying with us.
You connect me now.
Go ahead. You're live.
Okay. Yes. Good afternoon, Ayo.
Yes, Ayo has connected.
Yeah, good afternoon,
It's the
Ayo.
producer that is in charge.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Even the network is bad.
It's bad. You see.
Wow.
I'm sure you've seen that has happened twice.
Wow.
That it's part of the problem we are talking about.
So keep trying. Now, as socio-economic situation in Nigeria continues to worsen, more citizens continue to seek greener pasture abroad. The National Association of Government General Medical and Dental Practitioners revealed that more than 2,000 doctors left the country for Europe, Saudi Arabia, and Canada as at this June this year. Speaking in Abuja during their National Executive Council meeting, the president of the association, Noel Dokun, said the doctors left for countries where their services are better appreciated, especially Britain. It's just like what you've been saying. And Dotu,
It's
in all sector now, especially apart from people going there to work. Before we go to those people going there to render their expertise, there's this jackpot syndrome now, and everybody in UK now is so opened. Caregivers, Nigerians want to go as caregivers. Nigerians want to apply for school, emergency schools. They want to take their children, they want to take their wife, they want to take their husband, and they pay. They go through all the processes, and month after month, I can say that I can point at several people that I know now that they're at the verge of leaving this country, and it's not looking up at all.
There is this joke going around now that very soon there will be more Nigerians in Canada than in Nigeria. The way we are going about it. It's a sad situation, but it's all, they are interconnected. So many things are happening that people are responding to. One of them that I've had, and on several occasions, is I need to secure the future of my children. Very valid. Because the generation we are building
there's
after
nothing
us,
on ground.
nothing. The
To secure the
generation
future of our children,
we are,
the way this country
we are
is.
bringing up now is not as resilient as we are. And as such, we are even scared for their future in this country. So that is one. So whether you are a doctor, you are an accountant, you are a cleaner, whatever profession, you want to move your children out. And in most of these countries, when you are moving them out, you as the parent must come. Even if you must leave, you must first stay about 6 months there or 1 year until when you meet all the requirements. So we are losing them. And then in Nigeria, we have doctors who, when they look at what they are getting and compare it to where they need them outside, they say it's better for them to leave. More so, they are not going there. If you go illegally, they first become security guards, do all of these menial jobs before they get formally into the system. But a lot of them leave from here straight into another job in those countries. And they are earning well. Are we saying that we'll be able to meet their needs if they stay? It is no. When the ASO crisis began, figures started going around. This is what a professor here in this country earns. This is what a professor there earns. And then you now do the logical thing. Whether we accept it or not, our economy is dollarized. Anything we are doing, the baseline is for us to begin to say, how much is this in dollar? If you pay a civil servant, let's even say a doctor, for instance, 200,000 naira in a month, put it into dollar form and see how comfortable that person is. That's one. Number two, how many Nigerians can afford to go to the hospital now, as we speak? I was talking to my doctor. He said about 2 years ago, he did fibroid operation for somebody, and they took about 100 and something thousand. He says now, they can't do it for less than 750,000. That's still a small hospital, not the big ones. So even when somebody is dying and knows this is fibroid, where does that person come from? So even the doctors have nothing to do. So when you are a doctor, you are eminently qualified, and you sit in your hospital, government can't take all the doctors around. Even if they do, how much are they paying? And you are seated in your hospital, today, no patient. Tomorrow, no patient. And so people are dying. Not that they are not dying, not that they are not ill. But they can't even afford the cost. He said a syringe was 2 for 5 naira just some months back. Maybe like 6 months, 1 year. Now it's 15 naira for one. That's if you get it at a good place. So you begin to look at all of these factors and you say these people will stay. It's going to be difficult. Even when we don't even have enough. As at 2019, we had 4 doctors to 10,000 Nigerians.
4 doctors to 10,000 Nigerians?
Yes, as at 2019. It's going to be worse now. It's going to be worse. But the point still remains that for you to keep a professional in that cadre on ground, you must have something to offer.
Do you know the amounts in which, like, I know of the federal government schools, let's say the Medilag of this world and everything, and how much the federal government will be spending to subsidize their education. And at the end of the day, we'll fold our arms, these people will graduate, and we allow them to travel out. And they're still there now. So even out there, they recognize the fact that they give them good training here.
Here in
that
Nigeria.
they train them well here. They do everything well here. They just allow us to, train them.
To bake them.
They get qualified. And a country like Saudi Arabia, it has been like that since.
For many years.
For many years.
Even
it's
England.
now UK, America now.
Even in England, mostly, do you know that Nigerian experts or professionals, they recognize them in UK more than anywhere? Look, even in US, in Saudi Arabia, in South Africa now, if they want to create a vehicle for any business whatsoever, immediately they see a Nigerian being on board as advisor, consultants, experts. They take them immediately because they know that they know their onions and they can do where they can give advice and they can raise what they want. It has been like that. You see, as the doctor said, do you know when I start thinking of the future of my children? Okay, about 9 years ago, I traveled to the US, I came back. My friends over there were just laughing at me like this. See where he had an opportunity to stay with us. They were even telling me to stay. Now the people that I traveled with on the same flight that I ended up chatting with, getting their number. My brother, they are doing fine now. I thank God. At least when I went, I was a correspondent, I'm an assistant editor. And to the glory of God, one is not finding it easy, but we are still suffering. Another thing is this, if we know a colleague of us, a realistic job that you are doing, and then you travel. He said, what? He said, look, my brother, I have young kids. I'm thinking of their future. It's not today. It has been like that for 9, 8 years. People are traveling. The issue of doctors traveling is not strange to me. I'm telling you, it's not strange. Do you know that during the COVID period, what they did was, to ask a consultant, even in Lagos here and Abuja, to interview doctors. And they came with charter flights. In Lagos here, another one in Abuja. And people, after,
I remember that.
The story was there.
And do you know that even
doctors were
there was a time that the federal government agencies, I don't know which agencies whatsoever, they went there to pursue these people. That what are you doing? You are taking these people away. They say, what is your own concern? If you cannot take care of these people, we can take care of them. Do you know how much they get there? But to what you are saying, that look, the cost of treatment, I'm sorry, I don't pray that anybody should get sick in the US. I don't. Because, look.
No, it's expensive. Very expensive.
You see, what really happened?
Very expensive.
9 years ago, look at it, 9 years ago. I was admitted in an hospital, New York Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. Look, at the end of the day, they gave me a prescription. $446 to buy drug. That was when exchange rate was $16,500 per $100.
Let me interject there. Can you imagine that if the 30,000 naira we are paying the lowest civil servant is $30,000, will you find it difficult to bring out?
No,
that's the problem.
Now look at it.
That is what I'm saying to you, sir, that it is intertwined. You cannot be earning the kind of money you are talking about. Those who are in that system, that money you have spoken about, if it is 444 naira, you pay it here. No. That's where the challenge is.
No.
We must not leave that fact out, that we must situate payments, bills in our economy, not outside.
Outside the economy.
Yes, don't bring it like it is expensive, and then if you go out of this country and you calculate by doing exchange, you will never buy a pen.
Okay,
Yes,
fine. Let me.
To buy, as if you get to the airport and you want to buy drinking water and they tell you $2.
No.
And then you convert it.
Now, let me complete what I'm saying.
Okay, sir.
Then, the Obama came with that health program because of the cost of medication. Yes. Then what are we saying? Why can't the government assist Nigerians too with certain program? People have been talking of social security. They have been talking of this. We've not been seeing anything. And now, do you know what is happening now? People are going to pharmacies for treatment. Most pharmacies now, they are now consulting hospitals. And they are giving injections.
They're patronizing auxiliary nurses.
And they are giving injections. Pharmacists are giving injections to Nigerians now in pharmaceutical establishment. Not even hospitals.
Okay,
How do you want doctors to
from
survive?
London. Let's listen to Ade. Thank you for staying with us, Ade. Hello, Ade. I think we have issues with our network today. Hello, Ade.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. This one is terrible.
You're live, Ade.
That is my matter.
Let me chip this in. In terms of saying that government should put things in place, there are a few things. For instance, here in Lagos, you have free treatment for, I think, malaria, general hospitals, 0 to 8 years. You have mother child care hospitals where you go. But the big question is, in all of this, can government give us all the medicines that we need?
No.
It cannot. So that's why I said we must be able to think holistically. Think about it. You go somewhere, your consultancy is free because government has said it should be free. You now have like 10 medicines to buy. They say Panadol, oh yeah, we have this one. But the one that will cost you 1,000 naira per tablet and you need to take for 3 months every day is not available. So you go to, that's where the challenge is.
Okay. Let's quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. We're still on the exits of medical doctors abroad to countries like Canada, Saudi Arabia, and Europe. It's the end of the first half of Journalist Hangout on Sunday. When we come back, we'll continue with this topic. Please don't go away.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, Nigerian Army Medal, on behalf of officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army, announces the commencement of the Chief of Army Staff 3rd Quarter Conference 2022, scheduled to hold at Abuja from 12th to 16th September 2022. Venue, Army Headquarters Command Officers Mess 1, Asokoro, Abuja. Time, 8 a.m. daily. Nigerian Army, pride of the nation. Brigadier General Onyema Nwachuku, Director, Army Public Relations, Announcer.
Monkeypox is caused by a virus of same name that is closely related to now eradicated smallpox. The likely symptoms of monkeypox are fever, headache, muscle aches, back pain, low energy, rash, swollen lymph nodes, among others. How does the monkeypox virus get spread? You can get the virus through close contact with an infected person and also through physical contact with an infected animal. To get monkeypox treatment, you need to see a physician. Here are the steps to protect yourself from monkeypox virus. Step 1. Avoid close contact with suspected or confirmed monkeypox cases. Step 2. Avoid physical touch with animals who could be infected. Step 3. Frequently clean and disinfect environments that could have been contaminated. We all need to join hands together to protect ourselves from this virus. This campaign is brought to you by TVC Communication.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Join me, Precious Amayo, as I bring you news from the epicenter, where it happens and when it happens, staying on top of every breaking story, minute by minute, right at the hour when the city gets busy and just before it sleeps. We're live from every angle with objective insight and analysis. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Thank you for staying with us. If you are just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout on Sunday, and this is the second half. Before we went on break, we were talking about the exits, the migration of our doctors, medical doctors, to, according to the National Executive Council of the Nigerian Medical Association, saying that over 2,000 doctors have left the shores of Nigeria. And we are looking at the factors that is not only peculiar to medical practitioners alone, but we're looking at the impacts. You gave a ratio, and by now,
of course, it's certain that it would have gone down by now. If it was 4 doctors to 10,000,
4 doctors
to 10,000 Nigerians,
4 doctors.
So now we should be looking at maybe 4 to like 20, 30,000 Nigerians, because they are living. That's
why they are overworked. Those one are the general hospital.
Yes.
Everywhere. When time you see them, they're always tired
and under pressure
of the number of patients they have to attend to.
So it's something we have to look at, like I said, holistically. If you are even going, for instance, to any of these hospitals, and the only thing that they bill you, even give you all the medicines that you need, is 4,000 naira. Imagine somebody who has 4 children. Maybe one of them goes to, 4 of them will go to the hospital. Maybe monthly, they spend 2,000 naira. That's 8,000. You have to pay for where you stay. You have to pay for transportation and other things. So we need to keep looking at all of these things, not as single line items, but generally, so that we don't come to the erroneous conclusion that it is also expensive somewhere to go to school or to go to the hospital.
The bottom line of all this is that if the atmosphere is conducive in the country, people will not leave. Our professionals will not leave the way they are living. That if governments, if they are putting basic things in place, that you don't need to check out of Nigeria.
See, Ayo, let's be realistic with ourselves. See, the mind of Nigerians have been tuned into the fact that they must travel out of the country now for their future and the future of their children to be okay. See, the issue of saying that the government should plan, fine, and they should put things in place, is not something that can just be there within a year.
No, it's because when they look at the future, when they look at what's on ground, like the future is bleak.
Yeah, that is the truth. And I said that this is a country that you cannot plan.
Adebayo is calling us from London. Adebayo. Hello, Bayo.
Hello?
Yes, Bayo.
Hello?
You're live, Bayo. Go ahead.
Hello, Ayo, how are you?
Very well.
Good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. You are.
Okay. Does any of you remember Andrews when they were checking out?
Yes, that
Andrew?
song. Andrew, no check out
During the period of Tunde Buhari. Compare that period and now. Do you think any Nigeria, if he has the opportunity, should not check out of the country?
That's why you checked out.
You remember that? Look at the Minister for Labour the other time said that the Nigeria had enough doctors. Any doctor who wants to go abroad, they can go abroad. Is that a statement we should get from our leaders? We have leaders who are not sensitive. We have leaders who don't have the deep love for the country. That is why we are getting what we are getting. Look at the oil theft. Benghazi said Navy are involved. What has the government done? These are the issues. We need to put our house in order. Look at in Ghana. If a Ghana policeman see you with an ounce of Ghana gold, you will not go anywhere. They will prosecute you. Why is it that our security forces are aiding the bleeding of our nation? Look at the ship that was arrested in the Equatorial Guinea. He went through Nigerian water, and the chief of naval staff said they stopped the boat and it did not stop. Is that a statement from our chief of defense, the chief of naval staff? We need to put our hearts together, and the government needs to be serious. We have a government who has double standards, who cannot sit down and put their feet down and say, this is the direction we want to go. God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria. God bless Nigeria.
I completely agree with him that things are not getting better. Because if some years back we are saying, like he said, Naira to dollar was 16.5. And today we're at over 700 Naira to $1. It doesn't show that we are moving. It doesn't show that we are improving. And if you expect that you are going to tie down professionals who are needed outside of this country, it's going to be impossible. Because I can't see where my lot is going to be better. And stay on. Reality.
And for those people in the system who have even children in primary and secondary school here, they have plans that anytime they want to go to tertiary education, they want to get them abroad.
Yes, that is the practice. Because, like, do you know that even in Nigeria today, people are moving their kids from public universities to private universities?
That would have happened to me.
It's what is obtainable now. And it's what is. I went to one private school, one private university in Abeokuta. I don't want to mention the name here. Do you know that I asked, how much are they paying for law program there? They told me, look, you must have about 2,000 naira, 2 million naira for your kid. Where am I going to get it? I don't know, maybe you can get it. You're a big man, and Dr. Tu is also a big man. Yeah, that is what is obtainable. But people are rushing, they are going to borrow money. To make sure that, look, because of the survival of their kids.
We can't wait 6 months. So also declare indefinitely that we are going to strike till kingdom comes. And you see your children at home every day.
Not only that, these children, my brother, these children, the way they are eating now, and the way they are consuming. I'm telling you, they are not doing anything.
It is not so much as the way they are eating, but as the prices are skyrocketing in the market. If you go to the market today and you buy a carton of chicken for 2,000, I don't expect that you are going to get there tomorrow and meet it at the same price. It's embarrassing.
All right, moving forward now. According to the great Greek philosopher Aristotle, the greatest victory is a victory over self. In our intractable war against insecurity, maybe it is time to look inward. The independent chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, that's ICPC, Professor Bolaji Owasoye, has identified corruption by the military, the police, and the civil service as responsible for the worsening insecurity in the country. Speaking in Abuja, Professor Bolaji Owasonye said corruption is a major contributory factor to the continued existence and spread of insecurity in the country. Gentlemen, this is like spot on. And he has indicted, quite a number of people here, across all strata, that if the military, the police, and civil servants.
Well, one thing has been established by several commentators and our leaders. There is no corruption that goes on within our polity, especially when it's related to government funding, that does not have an input of civil servants. They're always in the know. They know all of these things are done. Some of them are even posted to some of these military formations to check what is happening. And then we've seen it in the last couple of years, especially with this regime. Even the Obasanjo regime did a few of it by prosecuting some of the heads of our security agencies. Some trials are still going on now. In the process of trials, 1 or 2 of them have died, and the others who have been indicted with them are still undergoing trial. So I wasn't shocked.
Look at the billions involved.
Yeah, so I wasn't shocked when Professor Owasonye said there was a contractor who was paid 6 billion over a period for spurious contracts. I wasn't shocked. And I wasn't shocked also when he said one of the heads of our security agencies just took
4 billion.
money, 4 billion, and put in an account where is the sole signatory, which is his personal company. I wasn't shocked. These are things that have been there. But are these things being addressed the way they should be addressed? Because a lot of times, I have also come to agree with those who have said, see, we should have courts, special courts for trial of corruption cases. Especially in this case where lives are being lost because we are not deploying funds approved and released for the purposes for which they were approved and released. If somebody takes 4 billion, one person, I can imagine how much money that system has, because at least other things must run. So it means we must be able to track not just the approval process, but after the money is released, what happens to it?
Trust Nigerians, we take advantage of any system, especially the situation. Because of the war on insurgency, because of the war against bandits, so it's difficult to place the military under the single treasury account. So most of their transactions, most of what they do it with emergency funds as cash oriented and what they do. So as a result of that, when you see that a military chief is being tried, you hear of 4 billion, 1 billion, you hear of properties littered all around. That means they have direct access
to money,
take the money, and this you know the number of guys generals that
in
dollars try, and you see a general as rich as anything, and you begin to look at, are these people happy that the war on insurgency is prolonged?
Yes, they are happy, and the more the money for it continue to come, the war will still be going on. Let me tell you, we have operations, military operations, virtually in all the states of the Federation. Do you know that the governors are assisting military personnel stationed in their states from their security votes? And even the ministry, the defense ministry is not even aware. The federal government is not even aware. What are those things you need? How can we assist to fuel their cars and their vehicles operational vehicles and things like that. They do it. They also give out money. Every day they budget money. Every day for each of the personnel. Not only that, if they tell them, oh, you have about 4,000 stationed in your state to protect you and your people, then what can we do? Oh, fine, no problem. Well, oh, sorry, what can you do for us? Okay, we are going to give 1,000 each day. Let us just think. We are going to give 1,000 each day to 40 to that 40,000. 1,000 times 4,000.
And most of the time it won't trickle down.
No, it won't. I'm telling you. Okay, look at it. The other time around, if you remember very well, in the north, a general asked some personnel to take some dollars to Abuja. On their way, they went away with the money. And what happened? What happened? It is like that. This money, they are not even being recorded. Instead of being used to that, and then, taking conscious of the fact that state government are assisting them, they are also dipping their hand. Then that is the more reason that you see many soldiers are dead. Go and see what is happening to their family in the barracks. Most of their families are begging, and before you know it, they push them out of the barracks. See, my brother, they are hitting, generals are hitting, I'm sorry to say it. Most of them, the corrupt one, I'm saying all the general, the corrupt, we still have very good people, and they are mindful of the fact that they must do their duty. And that not only to the people, to the nation, and to God. Fine. But the most corrupt one, what are they doing? They are eating from all sides of their mouth. And this thing will continue. We are talking of 4 billion now. Do you know how much these people are making out of the system? And then the quality of the hardware that our military personnel are using. I'm sorry to say it. Some people have been questioning the fact that the sophistication, our weapon, they are not as standard as the weapons that military should use all over the world. I'm not saying that it's a general thing. We should look at all these things. Because look, it's not even today. Look at the cases of generals that...
As a result of this selfishness, we've lost lives. We've even lost, senior officers, junior officers, middle cadre officers, that they were fighting because of insufficient ammunition and everything, and corruption in the system largely, according to Professor Bolaji Owasonye, and we are paying for it dearly.
Yes, while it's not a general indictment of
the
military or their commanders, we should be probing. We should not just be probing these things, but we will be bringing people to account for their misdeeds. If, like I mentioned earlier, people are sure that this is the best I can get from my country, you are sure this is the best, then you are going to put in your best. But where you already know that this is not even 1/10 of the best I can get from my country, because some people are corrupt somewhere, you are also not likely to put in your best. Because you know that if you get killed in the process, those people are going to be in their offices, in their homes comfortably, spending their loot. We should be serious about this issue of insurgency. Pay more attention to what we need. At some point, the issue we had in this country, which was the major topic, was security votes for political office holders. Now we have moved away from that. It is now even talking about those who should be disciplined, who are now becoming indisciplined, taking money that ordinarily should be for the Commonwealth. It's going to keep happening if we are not careful. It's getting better now from the failures that we have had. if people are surrendering in droves, people who are terrorists who are bandits, then it means that there is something happening to them. But it still does not mean that some of these infractions should be overlooked. If ICPC is complaining that there are impediments on its way to prosecute, then the president should step in. It means that there is a problem somewhere that he needs to tackle, because it means that the man who is heading ICPC and his team, they are overwhelmed. For him to have come out publicly to say, we even wanted to prosecute.
Frustration.
And somebody is standing in our way. It means that there is need for a higher intervention.
And to add to that, in the past, most of the people prosecuted by the EFCC, they were out of the system, retired.
Yes.
Yes. Is it possible for you to go to the barrack and say you want to arrest a general or a brigadier? It's not possible. And you remember the case of the Director General of National Intelligence Agency, that they found money in his Koye home. When they went there to arrest the guy, come and see. The DSS guy said, look, you can't take this man. The person that was sacked by federal government, have you been hearing about the case till today? The wife and the man, we've not heard about them for a long while now. It is like that. Maybe something, they have something that is known to them, that is not known to us. I don't know. But look at what happened to Tafa Balogun. When it was discovered that the man was, had so much bank accounts in one single branch of a bank. The policemen that went there to arrest him, they were the people that were beating him.
Let's speak, Kolako calling us from Oshodi. Thank you, Kolako. Thank you for staying with us. Kola, are you there? Hello? Kolakbo. Still the same problem.
Hello, Ayo. Good afternoon.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yeah. I want to buttress on what the Oga on Blue was saying. You see, the corruption in most of this job is unbecoming. I am a uniformer, but I'm not going to say the department where I belong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was a day I went to the secretariat in our office, and I saw a list of documents, and the heading of the document was welfare. So, under the list, the names, I saw my name there, but unfortunately, it wasn't my signature. A welfare of 50,000 naira, and we were more than how many people, in the sense that some of us were, it's assumed we've signed welfare, but none of those on those lists actually signed against the name. So, I don't know. I don't know where we'll go from there. Thank you.
And they connive with civil servants.
That is really where we are.
Because
at some point, I say to people who are with me, when we see some of these operational vehicles in Lagos, especially Operation Awase, you see them go to some parks at times. And what they are looking for is fuel money in order to be able to move around. Some will even stop you on the road and say, "Oh, God, we want to buy fuel," or even in the filling station and tell you. So you now begin to ask, must government then say, okay, because there is a problem, everybody report at this place to go and take fuel? Even when they start that, somebody will find a way through it and begin to defraud the system again.
Yes, sir.
Why are we the way we are? Why can't we just do some things in a manner that will show that we now have a country? The way we are, we don't have a country. Because everybody is looking for an opening through which to defraud the other person. Yeah. I can't imagine.
Just for your own turn.
What
each out of the national
man who called now has said is the truth. People sign all manner of documents in your name and they return it and they have retired the money. And those people will go home and be able to sleep. I find some things very difficult to understand.
That's how to get rich.
Very difficult. Extremely difficult to understand. Because if somebody is supposed to get a particular benefit, that person is on the street doing the work you have sent him. And you, the boss, you sit back in the office and you collect those allowances in his name. And you feel that is the only way to enjoy? I don't know. It's difficult to understand.
No, before we leave the topic, I want to ask, like ICPC, you know, from the feelers I'm getting, they've not been able to, you know, perform their job optimally compared to what EFCC does and everything. I don't know, their modus operandi is different, but for them, we hardly hear of them. And do you think they've actually fulfilled the purpose of establishing that agency?
Yeah, they are trying. But as we said, there will always be impediment on the way of an agency like that. And if you look at this, they've not even been able to prosecute civil servants. Talk less of going for the military people. I don't know how they will do this case.
Well, let me add to that. The mode of operation in the FCC is more media focused than you have in ICPC.
Yes.
ICPC doesn't talk. You rarely hear ICPC talking. That's what I found out. And why they decided, why they decided to operate in the dark, I don't know. It could be a strategy that is working for them. It's only when they have impediments like this that you begin to hear. They've prosecuted so many cases successfully that if they also decide to put it, it's just like what the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is doing now. Every Sunday, you get a mail saying, last week, these were achievements. And when you hear some of those things, you are alarmed. There was a day I was coming from Edo State. I didn't drive back because the car had a fault on the way. I was in a public bus. And then NDLEA stopped us. They checked and I said, we've been in this bus for long ago. Said, okay. It's like somebody said, I know you. I said, yes. He said, do you know all of these people in this? I said, no. And then we left. And I told my wife who was with me, I said, NDLEA must have sent something to Box. Let me check. That particular place where they stopped us, they arrested somebody that week there with huge consignments of drugs. They say it. We have read it. ICPC will not say it. They will rather go on and find a way to prosecute.
See, another thing is this.
I have a call from Abeokuta. Thank you for joining us. Yes, thank you for joining us.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah, this is Chicho. Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, go ahead. Afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, the panelists. Let me go ahead with this subject matter. You see, thank God that it's not other person that is saying this rather than the ICPC himself. You know, if it have to be other persons now, you know, the government can debunk it. Now, come to think of it. Now, this government came with this mantra of change, and they promise to, you know, stop corruption, you know, all this electricity, to bring electricity for, you know, all manner of good things that they came, and many people, you know, came to join them with that hope. Well, look at what is happening now. Look at what is happening now. In fact, if this government should take us back to 2015, I think it will be better for this government to take us back to 2015.
Thank you, Uche wants us to release 7.5 years, and the government should take us back to pre-2015. Okay. And looking at it, we're talking about the modus operandi of these agencies, rounding off on this. And you said, yes, ICPCs, they have their own way of...
In addition to what Dr. said, look, it's also a matter of the media focus of those people in charge. I don't know, ICPC, some of the people, when they were part of the Presidential Committee for Corruption, you know, I can tell you that some of my colleagues said some top shot there they were media focused. But immediately they got there, they stopped taking their course. A colleague of mine in my office even said, maybe it's peculiar to ICPC, I don't know. And it's a matter of, it's also a matter of the kind of latitude they give the media people there. If they say, oh, don't talk, then what will you do? What will you do? There's no way you can be publishing things for them like that. You will be in trouble. Maybe it's their modus operandi, I don't know, but it's not working out for them. Because if you don't tell Nigerians what you are doing, they won't believe, they won't hear you.
All right, and finally, Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, an activist. Okay, I beg your pardon. Nobel Peace Prize laureate and democracy activist Aung San Suu Kyi once said that if you want to bring an end to long-standing conflicts, you have to be prepared to compromise. This may be the next step for Nigeria regarding the lingering strike by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUN. The Committee of Vice Chancellors and Nigerian Federal Universities has urged parties in the conflict to adopt a give and take option in the negotiations between the federal government and ASUN. In a statement signed by the chairman and the vice chancellor of the University of Ilorin, Professor Suleiman Abdulkarim, the committee called for concessions and sacrifices on both sides for the sake of university education in the country. Committee of Vice Chancellors now calling for concessions on both sides, on the part of ASU and federal government.
I think that is going to be tough. And why am I saying that? The Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, was quite clear when he told the nation. Even when that was when he spoke with the Committee of Vice Chancellors and Pro-Chancellors. He said, President Muhammadu Buhari has told us not to sign any agreement that we as a government can't fulfill. Because that's what got us to where we are. That's what got us to where we are. When the past governments were signing these agreements, there were projections. Okay, we should be able to pay you this much within this period. The economy kept collapsing. We started reordering priorities, and then we couldn't meet our promises to these lecturers. That is one area for which I'm not blaming them. Because I can't come to you and without putting a gun or a knife to your head or neck, you tell me you are going to give me so amount of money. And we put it into writing and we both sign. And then years down the line, you are telling me you can't fulfill it. It's so unfortunate. On the part of the lecturers, they know, and quite clearly too, that if they step down without achieving anything this time around, it's going to be difficult for them to persuade Nigerians on why they need to go on strike again in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
They'll lose sympathy.
They are going to lose sympathy.
But don't you think they're already losing sympathy?
No, we are going to come to that. They are going to lose sympathy. And on that score, I agree with them. But the place where I see that we have a major gap is the fact that you have a government that is still being run the way it was done 10, 15 years ago when the economy was better. We as Nigerians, we have been saying it. The lecturers are saying it. You can't afford to run an expensive government and say you don't have money for the basic things. Can you reduce the cost of governance? If you don't do it, and we are saying that money is flowing in different directions, you are giving money to people. Okay, one of it where there has been controversy. We have gone on though it has been denied by the people in the Niger Republic, to give vehicles to them. We are planning another 200 billion for something over which they have complained. Can we come down to their level and ensure that Nigerians are even satisfied with the spending that we are doing? You can't come and tell me that you want to spend 200 billion on something that we as Nigerians find controversial or we're unable to resolve or agree with the government. And then you are saying the critical sector, education, you are going to leave it that way. That's one. The second part of it is this. These lecturers, do they even know what is happening inside government? How government decides on processes for funding and the rest. Look at the case of Adamu. Adamu is the minister now. He was part of an ASU strike before he became minister. He was a lecturer. But now he's inside the government. He's seeing the reality on ground. And is unable to help his colleagues. Rather, he's telling them, accept what we have given you. Are you able to open the books? I once said it on this program, that no matter what anybody finds against the incumbent Minister of Interior, Ralph Aregbesola, when he was governor of Osun State, there was something that he did that I loved. When he saw that they were unable to pay salaries, do all the rest, he brought everybody into the team that was deciding how to disburse money. So everybody was saying it. The civil servants said, so it is like this. Okay, let us do this. And they devised means of managing whatever comes in every month. Why should it take you to appoint one of them minister to see what is happening in house? How do they know that even the economic postulations that they are making is not matching realities when they are not saying what is inside? We should be able to see these things. We should be able to decide. Till date, we cannot say specifically and categorically, and for Nigerians to agree with them and all the experts that this is how much crude goes out every day. And we know they are going out. Where is the money? Why are refineries not working? So that we can reduce costs. We don't have to pay this, pay that in that process. And that is the reason why both parties may never agree. Because if you don't see what is happening, if you are not convinced that your money is being spent the way it should be spent, then there's a problem. And that's where we are.
My take on that is this. You see, on the issue of cost of governance, we've been saying it, and on many occasions here, I've seen that, I've said that here. You see, all over the world, one thing that Nigeria is known for is corruption and unnecessary spending in the areas of governance. Look, the first thing we need to do in this country is to cut the government. We don't need these two structures that we have in the National Assembly, the Senate and the House of Reps. Look at what happened, Sally did in Senegal. He removed one of the two houses, and they have one, and the government is still going and doing fine. Now, you see, I'm the head of education. This government has done well to a certain extent. The issue is fund. And as we said, if you have a problem of funding, what do? You cut your costs. Is the government doing that? That is another question entirely. Now let's look at what is coming in. For some months now, they've been having problem in sharing money. NMPC has not been coming up with
normal largesse.
Yes, largesse.
And we know why.
And we know why. We know why. Okay, fine. Why can't you do something about it? See, about 4 years ago in South Africa, I met a journalist, an African journalist. He told me, he said, look, voila, what you people have, you are not having any financing or investment in the health sector. What you people are having, portfolio businessmen coming in, buying companies, selling paper. They are selling paper. Not that they are investing or bringing their money.
No value added.
No value addition. Now, you see, as the government is saying now that it's not possible for them to sign what they cannot fulfill. Well, in fairness to the government, if government can do that across all sectors of the economy and say, look, we are not going to, even including, civil servants and elected leaders, if they can say it, we are not going to, please reduce the vehicle, you that you are managing for vehicle, go for 2 or go for 1, it's okay. Now, let's be realistic with ourselves. The way ASU is doing, if today the doctors, they decided to go on strike like that, NUT, they decided to go on, the police, they decided, what will become of the country? What will become of the country? Fine, they have an agreement to say that, okay, every 5 years or 10 years, we will, review this thing. And the money is no longer there. What do you do? But for you to say that the money is no longer there, you should be able to show the books, as you rightly said. But the books are not being shown. And not only that, these people, activism,
4 billion missing here, 10 billion missing there.
Activism outside is different from what is obtainable in government. Immediately you go into government, they will rubbish you. You'll be part of the system. I'm telling you, you'll be part of the system.
But some people will say, after reaching the agreements, the government now decided, the federal government now decided that, okay, for those months you've not worked, we're not going to pay you.
There is a no work, no pay order.
Yes. It is the law. It is the law.
It's not something that we should be talking about in reality.
But because these lecturers are saying that, look, it's their entitlement.
No,
they've
it's
been
not
working.
possible. It's not possible.
They've been working from home. They've been working remotely.
I disagree with them. I disagree with them on that. I disagree completely with them on that. But first, let them even resolve the fundamental issues. Because as far as I'm concerned, that salary issue is not a big deal. But you cannot say that because you are going to cover what you did not teach over 7 months, you should be paid for that 7 months. If you sign into it as a civil servant, then we shouldn't be talking about it. I've had a lot of people backing them on this, on that. Yeah. But one thing we should note is that government in the past had been badgered into not enforcing that part of the law. Go and check it. Everybody who has gone
is there. We know. All of us.
If we have not enforced it till now, then there is going to be that argument.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are looking for. Because if, like they said, some of them, they said they have been going hungry, but we know underneath, except we are going to deceive ourselves, that most of them are working in private universities.
That is the truth.
And for me, I have also said, see, if you say you want autonomy for the universities or for the IS, then go for this autonomy. We had a program here when somebody called in and said, what are you talking about autonomy? Is it these pure water factories that they are establishing? But we have known that there is more that these lecturers can do. Because if you are claiming self-autonomy, let even the government step back a little. Let the government step back a little. A lot of people are taking their children to private schools now. People who are claiming that they cannot even pay for the federal government funded schools. Raise costs. Raise fees.
A little bit.
Raise it a little bit. Let it be something that I don't want a child who is going to tell me I'm going to university to study chemical engineering and she has not even seen 1 cup of chemical before. So that we don't produce textbook students. You need to raise it. If you are telling me in a private university where a lot of people are taking their children now, you have to pay about 2 million, 3 million for 1 session. Then let the government also, because when these teachers argue and they say, no, you cannot increase fees, but you must increase funding. Okay. Then what autonomy are you talking about?
We have Ibrahim calling us from Kaduna.
There's no autonomy.
Thank you for joining us, Ibrahim. Yes, Ibrahim, are you there? Talk talking about these universities, now we cannot sustain this subsidy by the federal government. You cannot, some of us will pay 35
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Ayo. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, Ibrahim. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me, Ibrahim from Kaduna?
Yes, go ahead. Oh, we lost Ibrahim. Some of us, you know, before the millennium, we paid 35 naira in Unilag as our tuition fee. Before the millennium, 35 naira we paid for accommodation, but it was very, very subsidized. You know that the federal government of Nigeria was subsidizing this thing for us, but the way it looks now, we cannot continue that route.
We can't. There's no way we can continue. Now, let me tell you, as Riley said, you see, we should, the lecturers should also know that Nigerians are intellectuals. They are intellectuals, fine. Okay, the way they are going, very soon you will see the students, seeing some of them and beating them. You will see the students going to campus at the venue of their meeting and dealing with them because they are tired. And you see, when we say this is the law, we should apply the law. As a journalist now, it's not possible for you to have a program and say that, you know, you are protesting. Even my rights in a newspaper that I work for, when we were fighting for our right, what did they do? They sacked all of us. They sacked all of us. And then, you see, people that, you know, have contributed 9 years for them to hit the 10 years threshold of 1 year, they didn't pay them kobo. I was part of the people that were not paid in the company. What do we do? See, the issue is this. If the federal government want to say they want to give autonomy to the governing council, let them do it. But with certain directives that, look, you should not do this, you should not do that. In terms of, you know, tuition, and that so that the tuition will be accommodating. Then I'm telling you, the issue of something happening, they want to speak with the president, they want to speak with minister, there should be layer. I'm telling you,
how will a commoner finally be able to, let's say, attend these tertiary institutions? I don't have money and I can't afford this.
It's been done in other countries. The government finances you. When you come out and you start working, you start paying. But that's for a system.
Student loan.
Yes, student loan. That's for a country that has a system in place that you are sure that when you leave university, you are going to get something doing. And the government is tracking you to say, okay, this man has started earning of recent.
But that is causing wahala in the US now.
Yes, but you know what the government has done.
Yes,
it says
$10,000.
It says
over the money that you are owing.
Yes, just stop it for now.
But the issue is this: some people they were loaned 5,000 when they were in the university, but as a result of interest, that one is about 60,000 now.
Slave trade.
That is where the system is. That is where the government can come in and not put in all those interests. And that's still on this issue of autonomy. I'm sure you are aware that in sub-state universities, money is being given. Yet, these people are unable to pay salaries. Take the case of Abia State Polytechnic, where the MBT withdrew the accreditation. What happened? You agreed with government, give us about 5 billion every month or something, and we'll be able to run ourselves. Yet, they were unable to pay salaries for about 16, 18 months. How do you explain that?
That's cool.
And that's what we keep saying. You must, what ASU wants is for government to be putting in money continuously.
Yes.
And it can't happen.
It cannot happen.
We are seeing where we are. It's not sustainable. Let's agree. Okay, you are autonomous. Don't overbill students. Start ensuring that the Naira has more value. So that gradually, the cost of living will be coming down.
Yes.
There are some things that can't come down. House rent won't come down.
Oh, it won't come down.
But
transportation
won't come down. But let us even do the basic ones. Food items. Let the costs keep coming down. Right. Let people be able to move around. And then you can now enforce the autonomy and say, you're on your own. But every month, we give you this. And then the lecturers should now go and sit down and do researches. Recall here that on a few occasions, the outgoing vice chancellor in Unilag, Professor Oluwatoyin, we have given him kudos, because in a few years that he was there, he generated over 17 billion from researches, from grants. That's what they should be doing. It shouldn't be everything is on government.
Most of them are consultants to what bodies?
They are consultants.
Regional bodies. I'm telling you.
And they are making money personally.
In UI alone, about 3 or 4 are consultants to ECOWAS.
Okay, we have to leave it there. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you for your contribution for this special edition of Journalist Hangout on Sunday. And Dr. Oladipo, thank you.
I appreciate
your time. Thank you. Journalist Hangout on Sunday. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for our regular program of Journalist Hangout by 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode by 11:30 today. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubako. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria. Yeah.
TVC News first with breaking news.
We cover the big political stories in Nigeria, but people want more than just politics.
Business news, sports naturally, but you need news to live by also.
Stories about education, health, personal finance, and hey, even lifestyle news.
Newspaper reviews, travel news, and much more.
Nigeria, it's more than just politics. It's life.
Start your day with us every weekday.
TVC News Breakfast. First, fast, balanced, and accurate.
TVC News first with breaking news.
The National Assembly is a busy